the ability to take responsibility for your actions as a friend. And when you mess up, say, I messed up. Like, I don't want this friendship to end, but I messed up and I hope you will forgive me.
An apology, though, doesn't mean everything.
No, it doesn't.
And an apology, even though it can be as sincere and you genuinely mean it, it doesn't fix everything. I kind of held this belief for a while that just an apology will fix things. And oftentimes, yeah, maybe, but a lot of times like trust needs to be rebuilt. Or it's just you kind of messed up bad enough that an apology isn't going to fix it. And it's like too deep of a wound.
Welcome to the Daughter Dearest podcast with dynamic mother-daughter duo Simone and Olivia Knego, where they discuss the secrets of transformation and how to build bold confidence and unwavering resilience. From intimate conversations with inspiring guests to sharing their personal journeys of triumph and challenge, Simone and Olivia create a supportive space where every woman is encouraged to rise above her fears and love the woman in the mirror. Tune into the Daughter Dearest podcast and join this special journey of connection and growth.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Daughter Dearest podcast. I'm Simone Knego.
And I'm Olivia Knego. And before we start on this week's episode, we have some big news to share with you guys.
Very exciting. We are rebranding our podcast. So within the next couple of weeks, we're going to have a name change, and we have changed the name to Her Unshakable Confidence to better mix with our brand, and we're really excited about it. So hope you guys are too.
Yes, very excited.
So today's episode, we want to talk about friendships, probably especially female friendships, but friendships, especially as we get older. I mean, it's one thing as a kid to find friends and meet friends on the playground, but obviously as you get older, it becomes a little bit more complicated. You really have to be intentional about it. So, I mean, for you right now, you're in a new city. So what are your thoughts?
That not having friends sucks. I don't know. It's been a hard day today. That's why I say that. I miss my friends a lot. And today has been like the turning point, I guess, since moving here, where it's like the novelty of moving somewhere new has left and the reality of starting over is like kicking in.
Yeah.
I see my friends this weekend, though. 2 of them are coming down on Friday, which is very exciting. But it's really a struggle because I guess right now, and I know I'm entering an environment where everybody's like, I guess, kind of searching for new friends, I would hope. But it's different because the friendships I have from college are like so deep. They're like next level friendships that have spent years in the making of like creating these connections and like the closeness that we have. And it's kind of daunting to know like the way I interact with my friends in New York City is not the way that I will be interacting with my law school friends. It's just not going to be the same
But you
right
don't know
away, at
that.
least.
Yeah.
But like
I mean,
right away, there's still that couple of months of you're not really that close yet.
yeah, it's
And
what it,
I'm someone that jumps immediately into closeness with friendships. I don't know why, like more of just like lay everything out on the table. And I think it's easier when you get comfortable, like if you spill yourself, people are more likely to get comfortable around you. But I know that that is very off-putting for some people.
well, then those aren't the people for you
Well,
because
exactly. It's just rejection sucks.
yeah, rejection sucks, but you want to find the right people that you want to be with. You
Mm-hmm.
just, it's true of our lives in general. I mean, over our lives, we meet so many different people, and friendships go in and out most of the time, unless they're those really close friends, because sometimes you'll see as you get older, sometimes your friends are based on school, and then your friends are based on your kids. So it's where your kids go to school. And those aren't necessarily the friends you're going to stick with for life. For me, some of them are, right?
Mm-hmm.
But just because you're in a new place, I know it's hard because I've done it many times, but you got to put in the effort to do it. So showing up at the things, even when you're like uncomfortable, thinking, oh my gosh, am I going to meet a friend? Am I going to be standing here by myself? You just have to go in there full force and introduce yourself. And this actually goes back to when we were when we did our podcast on networking and the importance of coming in with a couple of questions in your head before you get there so that
Hmm.
you don't just stand there awkwardly waiting for someone to come up to you, that you go up to them and not using the question, how are you? But introducing yourself, and then you could ask them where they're from. I mean, they're all especially at the law school one, the law school orientation, they're all coming in from different places. So it's always a
Yeah.
good conversation starter.
Yeah. I always lead with compliments, like
Mm,
to like break that barrier. Because then you're immediately talking to someone already. You're getting into the groove of it.
yeah. It's like,
Like,
I
I don't
love your
know,
dress, or
where is it from? Like that's such an easy conversation starter to get into.
yeah,
I guess I don't know. It's just like right now, it's different because I'm good at making friends. I'm never not going to say I'm good at making friends. I would say it's one of my like better skills is social connections and leadership and just like taking that first step. I mean, I've come out of so many life situations with friends I still talk to. And even if they were just short-term friends for whatever situation I was in at the time, I think the reason it's different this time is because I like don't have anything to fall back on. Like when I was in New York City and I would go to a Jewish event and it didn't go the way I wanted, I know I could still come home to my friends being there. And
right.
it's just a little different here because I don't have that like I do have the safety net. It's just not right next door anymore.
Yeah. And that's how it's kind of gonna be the rest of your life, that you'll have friends kind of all over the place. I mean, obviously, there will be friends where you live that you hang out with all the time, and especially in school, when you're studying, right? It's nice to have that group of people. Now, they might not be your best friends like your college friends were, but
Yeah.
they'll still be people that you can count on and really hang out with. It's
Yeah,
so
it's just
funny.
a
I'm
weird
looking
place
at
to be
you.
in.
I'm looking at you right now. So here's other big news. She figured out how to use the podcasting equipment at her apartment. So for those of you who are watching on video, you can see like she's got this soundproof room and this cool, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, what's the word called?
Microphone.
That would be it. Thank you. My brain's not working so well today. But you also look either like you have a black eye or like you're a Dalmatian
Yeah,
because
the lighting in here is just not great. So we have to like improvise and just with the shadowing. I don't know why they didn't really, or even just add like a lamp or a ring light. I don't
yeah, I
know.
think they're going to have to
I'm,
add a lamp in there because, yeah, or you'll put the
yeah,
lamp in a different position. It doesn't matter anyway. So, but it's exciting that it works and that I can hear you.
I know. It's actually really nice for me. I don't have to deal with my own equipment.
Yeah, you don't have to hook anything up anymore. So let's talk about the importance of friendships, because there is a ton of data about friendships, and simple things like people who have more friends and close confidants are more satisfied with their lives and less likely to suffer from depression. That makes sense, right? You're not alone. And then there is, a review of 38 studies found that adult friendships, especially high quality ones that provide social support and companionship, significantly predict well-being and can protect against mental health issues such as depression and anxiety, and those benefits persist across the lifespan. So there's tons of data out there on the importance of friendship. So, and sometimes you do see people that are completely alone, and it is heartbreaking, right? Because no one should be alone. Everybody should have someone
Yeah.
that loves them, that cares for them, that wants to help them when they're down. Doesn't always work that way, right?
No, of course not. I
But
don't know.
I was just on a women's retreat. There were 17 of us, and I made new friends. I'm 52 years old. I made new friends. I already have dinner plans set up with one of them. Like, how cool is that? That
Yeah. I mean,
it's
like, I don't know why I'm so daunted by this. Just had a similar experience when I went to Berlin of honestly, it was even kind of more scary because they weren't complete strangers. They're people that I knew of or knew kind of, but we've never gotten close. And then in that 1 week, I was able to make really good friends. But I don't know why I'm like right now it's just like terrifying.
well, you know why I think? I think it's because you're waiting. because it hasn't started yet. And it's so far away, and not that it's that far, but less than a month away now before you start classes. So you are just anticipating everything instead of just being able to jump in, right? When you did Berlin, you showed up, you met the people, you got started. But this is like you're like so far back from when you're actually meeting people.
Yeah.
It's just getting into your head.
Yeah. It's kind of just been a lot of waiting and doing work, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have confidence that you're going to do amazing. I mean, you're going to meet great people. You always do.
Yeah, I know. It's just like weird. It's weird. No, it's weird really like having to restart again.
Like I said,
And
you're going to
I've
restart many times.
yeah, yeah, I guess. And I know that. It's just I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
weird because I had so much of a routine before as well.
well, what's also going to be different is that you were actually living with one of your best friends.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you're living with your boyfriend, which is one of your best friends, but it's different than living with a best girlfriend. And that's probably never going to happen ever again, right? That
Yeah.
piece is going to be different. So everything you do has to be more intentional, has to be more planned, it has to be more scheduled because, there's not a girlfriend that's going to be living at your place where you can just come home and watch a movie with. So,
Yeah. I think like that aspect is really interesting. I feel like I'm at the part of my life where I'm getting into or at least not like age wise, because I feel like your 20s is so weird in that way. Like all of my girlfriends in New York City are still having that experience, but I'm kind of having the point in my life where I have to do these adult friendships where it's like, oh, let's go out to dinner, let's go out to like drinks, and not like let's come over and you rot on my couch,
yeah.
which was like college was. Um, and so yeah, it's just a lot more like intentional time, but like it's weird. It's just weird.
Yeah, it's weird, but it'll become more normal as you keep going with it. And like anything, it just takes time to make sure it's the right people. You're going to meet people the first day at school and you're going to be like, oh, they might be okay. They might be cool. But I think what you said about really kind of showing your true self, I mean, obviously, that's something that this podcast is really about, but it's so important that you are that way so that you're not meeting people or ending up starting a friendship with someone that you would never hang out with because you're not being yourself.
Hmm.
So I think it's much better to just put it out there on the line and see how it goes. And that was what was really cool about this trip to this retreat in Costa Rica, that I knew a couple of the women. I was friends with like two of the women, but everybody created like these amazing friendships and everybody interacted. It wasn't like you had people that just paired off and that's all they did. Everybody mixed every meal, people changed seats. When we rode in cars, everybody rode in different cars each time. And it was really special, especially at my age, because I never thought, well, I thought now, because when I was 40, I thought, oh, I'll never meet new friends. Like these are my friends and that's it. And I know a lot of people say, well, I don't need any more new friends. You always need new friends. You never know who you're going to meet, right? And so
Hmm.
in my 40s, I met a lot of amazing women through the volunteer work that I was doing and still incredibly close with them today. And so, but that was surprising to me because I didn't think in my 40s that I would find some of my closest friends. So now I do believe as I get older that I'll still find more friends. The fact that I met so many amazing people on this trip just shows me that it doesn't matter what age you are. There's always amazing people out there that want to support you, that want to cry with you, that want to laugh with you, that want to, hold you up when you need it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, I don't know.
It's
Starting
getting
over
there.
is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think once you're actually in the room, and this is what I would imagine is most people there are feeling the exact same way. Because it's one thing when you go off to college, sometimes people in your class are going off to the same school as you. Some of your friends might even apply so that they get to go together. law school is a whole different ballgame, right? Most people are
Yeah.
not going to know anybody.
Yeah. I think I'm partially where there's a lot of like um undergraduate students that are continuing at the same university. So like there's that, which is like, what if they already have their set friends? Um, I don't know.
You're a good friend though. I mean,
I try to
you're going to
be.
meet people. Yeah, again, you are, and you just put yourself out there.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm doing all the things, even though I don't want to,
So when's your meetup?
in like 2 weeks, a week.
Is it on a Friday
Like
night?
yeah, Friday night. So like
Yeah.
not this Friday, but next Friday night.
We're going scalloping. And we were trying to get her to come down to Florida to go scalloping with us. We've never done it before. I don't even really know what scalloping means. I think we're like
Okay,
diving in and
this is like
grabbing
such a
scallops.
side note to this conversation. I literally just saw a TikTok about this. Like, how many scallops do you think we got today? Mom, you get like 600 in a sitting. That's what this TikTok was had. They had like 600 scallops.
But they're the little ones, right? They're the little baby ones. So,
It doesn't matter. It's 600 scallops.
okay, well,
You
we'll
think you can
freeze
eat
them.
600?
We would freeze
Oh,
them.
yeah, you put them in there with a quail. You guys in your weird food adventures. Genuinely, I did want to go down on this or go to this. Like come down to Florida. Yeah, I should go to
You
this
got to,
happy
yeah,
hour
you got
event.
to,
And it's a long drive.
yeah, it's a long drive. And you got to meet new people and you got to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
What other activities can you do that you might be able to meet people like before school starts?
Honestly, I don't know because like I wanted to join a crochet group, but it's like when law school starts, I'm not gonna have time for anything except law school.
Yeah.
Because I know the way that Jacob's fiance has made a lot of her friends is through pottery studios.
Mm-hmm.
So finding like a craft group like that, but it's just weird because like I can already tell you I'm just not gonna have free time. So these
Well,
friends have to be really made in like classes.
yeah, I mean, you might have a little bit of free time. I mean, if
Yeah.
you pick one thing and not 20 things, but if there's like a weekend crochet group, if you're taking an hour out of your weekend to do something fun like that, I think you can do that.
Yeah. Um, I don't know how you make friends like with other graduate programs. I'm sure that's a thing. But because like dad's had a lot of law school friends when he was in med school.
Yeah, it was really based on where he lived and
Yeah.
having people that went to law school and then they would introduce him to their friends and vice versa. So that's how they kind of mixed and mingled with that. And
Yeah, like
then,
I think I'll make friends. I'm worried, but I'm not worried. It's just like right now I'm like sad
yeah,
because I don't have friends yet.
well, you still have friends. They're just not
Yeah.
in your apartment complex.
Yeah.
And I thought they looked like there were some young people in your complex, but no.
They just don't go to things.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to get to know people if people don't go out.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's like another thing. I don't know. It's just like I'm so receptive to it. And it's like, what if other people aren't receptive to making friends?
I think most people really are receptive to making friends. I mean, and again, the people that aren't the people that you want to hang out with anyways. I mean, there's definitely going to be people in your class that all they're going to do is study and not want to and want to study alone because some people do better that way. But there's going to be plenty of people that want to work in groups and you'll find your groove with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have, it's funny when I look back at high school and college, I thought like those will be my friends for the rest of my life, right? And high school, I don't really, I'm Facebook friends or LinkedIn friends with one of my friends from high school and yeah, Facebook friends with another one, but don't ever really communicate. And then from college, I'm still close with my best friend from college. But again, we have to be super intentional because we're both crazy busy. And the way we keep up with each other is committing to traveling with each other
Yeah.
once a year. And What I love about that friendship, and actually most of my friends who truly get me, you just start right back where you stopped, right?
Hmm.
You're not trying to make excuses for why you didn't call or anything like that. It's kind of like we know we're both really busy and like let's catch up and great and keep going. Do you think so you think you're a good friend? I don't know if I'm such a great friend because
I don't think you're a good friend.
yeah,
I'm
that was kind of
I'm sorry.
harsh.
No, no, no. I think you're a good friend. I think you're a very busy human being. And I think you forget that other people care about you. And so you don't take the time to inform them of things that they would, of course, care about.
You're absolutely correct. And I'm trying to really think about how do I make myself a better friend, right? Whether it's just checking in, because I say that all the time, check in with somebody, see how they're doing. But it does take a lot of time. And sometimes I don't have that time to really make those commitments. And it sounds crappy, but I don't know what else to do. I don't
Yeah. I
know.
mean, yeah, like it's, oh, I don't even know if like, yeah, I just feel like one of the common themes that I see with you a lot is that you just don't think a lot of your accomplishments are important enough to share. So people just don't know about it.
Yeah, I got to get better on that. So that's
Yeah.
true. And also, like when I'm having something, for example, like when your dad had surgery, I mean, we did tell people, but I always say no to help. Like, oh, can we bring you dinner?
But
Oh, can we
why?
bring you? I don't know. I don't know.
Don't you need the break?
Yeah, I always need the
Wouldn't you
break.
like it if someone brought you dinner? I would love it if someone brought me dinner.
Yeah, I do have to get better about that. But, and that's why friendships are so important so that you can lean on them in those moments. And I'm kind of like a bad friend in two ways. One, I don't spend enough time, and two, I don't accept the help, right? And that's
Yeah, I
exactly
will
the
say, I
opposite.
mean, spending the time is one thing. Like, I don't know, a true friend will understand that you're busy. Like, my best friend and I, she's gone through periods of like, we talk to each other very infrequently because of like how busy she is with her schedule. But it's like the accepting the care because that can come off to someone as like, oh, so you don't actually like me because you don't want me to help you.
Mhm. Yeah, and you don't feel like I'm capable of helping you or something like
Yeah.
that.
And even sometimes when you don't tell someone something, even if it's just like not to burden them or just like you forgot to tell them or you're like, why would they care to know? It's like, well, why are you keeping this a secret from me almost? Because I've been in situations like that where it's like, why are you not intentionally telling me this? And I've also been in situations where like someone's specifically hiding news and I'm like, okay, that's just weird. But a lot of the times, I don't know, it's friendship is hard. It's definitely hard. I think like I'm definitely such a pragmatic person when like something goes wrong in someone's life that I'm not necessarily the most comforting. I'm more of like, how can we fix this? Um, and I think you're the same way, but you just don't let people do the same back to you.
Yeah, I feel like I'm good in the moment. Like if someone needs something right now, like I'm good and I can go help with that. But it's that beyond that. So, like, for example, if a friend's parent had passed away, like in the moment, I'm calling, texting, writing, whatever. But 3 weeks later, I've stopped doing that, right? I'm not constantly saying, are you
Yeah.
okay? Are you okay? And I really do feel like I need to be better at that.
You should just schedule time in for your calendar, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Like this
That's what I do
is
with everything else.
schedule an hour in your calendar to be like, holy shit, I haven't reached out to you in a while. Should probably text you.
Hmm.
I'm actually trying to get a lot better at that. And I think because of this, and obviously friendship goes both ways. So like not completely blaming myself. I've definitely lost like a couple of friendships from before college because I wasn't great at maintaining the connection. And some people are just like, I don't know. It's just like I tried and it's, you know what? It's fine. You kind of just move on from it. Um, but I think like, yeah, I just tried to be more intentional with reaching out to people recently.
What do you think makes a really good friend?
Um, Someone that picks you up when you're down, someone that calls you out when you're wrong, cheers you on when you're right, even like the small but that's a lot to expect and like not a very close. I feel like that's just a level of friendship that not a lot of people reach. I don't know.
Yeah. I think the idea of being able to be just totally honest with someone, like if I'm wearing something that looks ridiculous, I want my friend to say to me, "You
Yeah.
look ridiculous." Like you might want to rethink that, whatever it is. I mean,
It's
or
also someone I don't have to like overthink with and like walk
mm,
on eggshells almost, or like, yeah, like think back. Cause I don't know, I get a lot of like secondhand anxiety when I look back at things. Like, oh my gosh, what did I embarrass myself there? And like, it's not necessarily a friend who's gonna like, oh, you didn't, you were totally fine. Like, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for somewhere where that like feeling doesn't happen because like, okay, like I did something embarrassing. We don't even like, maybe we acknowledge it, maybe we don't, we move on.
yeah. I mean, I've done some embarrassing things and I've kind of lost friendships over stuff like that because when you do something embarrassing, you don't need someone to point out that you did something embarrassing. You want someone to say, get over it. It's not a big deal. It's one moment in time, move on, right? And that's what good friends will do. They'll be like, okay, that was pretty hilarious. And just let it roll off your shoulder. Don't, don't let it fester. Those kinds of things where I think that if someone is your true friend, that's what they're going to do. And if they're not that close, they might be judgy.
Yeah. I think like just like no judgment is really important in any sort of friendship. Like, I don't know. Even if you feel like you're starting to judge someone, and I think this is a pretty valid point of view, maybe that you're not the right friend for them. Like
Yeah, for sure.
there are some people like it's impossible for us to be close to every single human being on the planet. We all have different opinions, worldviews, beliefs, etc. Even just different personalities. And sometimes you're gonna meet someone that like they're good as a surface level friend or a situational friend. Um, but like they might not be good beyond that. And that's like not neither the fault of you nor them. It's just like you just don't mix. I
Yeah, I
think
have plenty
oh
of
sorry.
friends. No, I have plenty of friends that are kind of like perimeter friends, right? That you're happy to go out and have dinner with them, that you'll go see a show, something like that, but they're not the people that you will tell your entire life story to, right?
Yeah.
They're not the people that you think are going to be there when you need them the most. Maybe they would be, but I think it's hard to let our guard down around too many people. Whether that's okay or not, I don't know. But I think that everyone is used to getting burnt by somebody, right? You might
Yeah.
have someone that you thought was a really close friend, and when you needed something, they basically turn their nose up at you. And so then you have one experience like that, and then it's hard to let people into your inner circle.
That and I think like something that becoming adult has become difficult is that like any relationship, um friendships are not some of them are not forever and like friendship falling outs over legitimate reasons, I guess, have become more common or not even legitimate, just like personality differences and they still sting. But it's just like different than like middle school friendship falling outs because those used to be so dramatic over like you look back and like what was that about? Literally, what was it about? But now it's like, oh wow, like you really hurt my feelings, or like, oh my gosh, I really messed up. And like we probably can't be friends after this. And like that's a kind of a difficult thing to come to terms with.
I think what you said there is really important, and the ability to take responsibility for your actions as a friend. And when you mess up, say, I messed up. Like, I don't want this friendship to end, but I messed up and I hope you will forgive me.
Yeah. I think that's something that I've struggled with a lot is that like An apology, though, doesn't mean everything.
No, it doesn't.
And an apology, even though it can be as sincere and you genuinely mean it, it doesn't fix everything. And I think like when you're like a kid, like an apology, you're not apologizing for things that are significant, really.
Mm,
I mean, like the most significant thing, I didn't even do this, but like cheating on a math test has like no weight in the world compared to some of the things that you can mess up with as an adult. And so I kind of held this belief for a while that just an apology will fix things. And oftentimes, yeah, maybe, but a lot of times like trust needs to be rebuilt. And or it's just you kind of messed up bad enough that an apology isn't going to fix it. And it's like too deep of a wound.
yeah, I definitely think that happens a lot where you want to fix it, but I think the biggest problem though is if you mess up and you apologize, maybe the apology is not accepted, who knows, but a lot of times what people do is they don't take responsibility, right? You can't not use your words, right? You have to be able to talk it out. And if at the end of the conversation it's not fixed, then you
Yeah.
tried your best.
I also think like you mentioned talking it out, like another important quality that I look for in friends is like, A, do I feel comfortable enough talking to you if you did something that upset me? And B, do you talk to me when you're upset at me? Like, if I upset you, will you come to me about it or you just bottle it in?
Mm,
Because I've been in a lot of B types of situations and it never goes well, but I'm not a mind reader. I can't tell when I mess up. And I think that's
s-
a important quality is like tell your friends when they did something that hurt your feelings because they don't know. Well,
yeah,
that goes to any relationship in life. Like, don't be afraid to like be like, hey, don't do that again. That really bothered me
yeah. You got to
because they
use
don't
your
know.
words. You got
People don't
to
know when you bother them because
the
they can't read your mind.
the worst is when something happens and the person tells everybody but you.
Yeah.
So everybody is talking about the situation and you don't even know what's going on. And
Yeah.
if someone hurts you, talk to them about it. Tell them why, because
I
they
mean,
don't
a lot of the
they
times,
might
like,
not
in
know.
at least in my situation, it was like a lot of it's not intentional. It's just like we have different, like, my wording of thing can be aggressive, or you just like don't think the same way as me. And like a lot of it just comes down to miscommunication. But by not speaking up, that miscommunication just grows into a bigger issue that can't be resolved.
So takeaways from this episode.
I'll make friends in law school. Duh.
You'll make friends in law school, yes. And being intentional, right? Being
Yeah.
intentional and
That friendships are not just like coloring rainbows that you see on TV, and it's not just about like sharing blocks in elementary school anymore. It's like really about being intentional both with your time and your actions and your ability to own up for things and acknowledge when you make mistakes. Um cuz I don't know, like I'm trying to think of a good analogy there, but I really can't. The idea of like rebuilding is I think a lot stronger in my head than starting over every single time something is messes up.
yeah. And I think that also understanding that not every person is meant for you, right? It's
Yeah.
just like in dating, right? I
It's
mean,
exactly like dating. I mean, I don't know why we treat friendships differently besides you can have more than one partner. I mean, more than one friend.
yeah. Yeah, that is interesting, but
Like,
it's a little bit different because of the
yeah.
intimacy, but
Well,
you know.
yeah, but like if you take out like the initial processes, it's about like, okay, like first date, first friend date, do we click? Can we get along? Okay. Are you just someone that's going to be a first date and like we just like casually hang out? Or are you going to be someone that like I can really talk to and like build a relationship with?
So it should be a really exciting time because you're going to
I
meet all these
know.
cool people, right?
I know. I know where my head is. I just don't know where everyone else is. And I
Yeah.
think that's the scariest part.
I know I've said this before, but there was something that your dad said to me that sticks with me to this day. Like I remember I had sent an email and I didn't hear back. And so I was not complaining to him, but I was like worried about it. I was like, let me tell you what happened. I think they're upset at me. And he said, first of all, take a breath. Second of all, they're probably not even thinking about you. You're
Mhm.
hyper focused on this one situation because that's what you're focused on. They might have 5 million other things going on, and they might not have even read your email yet, or they might have skimmed it and didn't have time for it. And he was so right because, we create these stories in our head of what could happen. And like 3 days later, the person sent me an email. "Oh, it was so great to hear from you, blah, blah, blah." And I was thinking, see, he was right. I made such a big deal about what I thought was happening when that was nowhere near the actual reality.
Mhm.
So I think it's a good reminder that not everyone's made for us, and that don't read too much into when things don't go the way you think they're going to go, and hang out with the people that you click with. That's it.
Yeah,
Do you have a calendar?
I do. The only stuff you can't get over is the stuff you're holding on to.
Huh. Okay,
Yeah.
that fits in as usual.
Yeah.
Yeah. So stop holding on to stupid stuff. Move on. Make new friends. Have
Yeah.
fun.
Don't
Study your
let you
butt off.
don't let yourself be your biggest enemy or your biggest like blockade.
Yeah. We do that a lot, right? We create these stories in our head. We talk negatively to ourselves. We think of reasons why people won't like us instead of focusing on the positive, and we know the positive works. So
Yeah.
keep focusing on the positive. Thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode of the Daughter Dearest podcast, soon to be Her Unshakable Confidence podcast. We will see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Daughter Dearest podcast with Simone and Olivia Knego. We hope this episode has made your day just a little bit brighter and given you the inspiration you need to confidently go about your week. Always remember to be authentically you. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. And feel free to connect with them on Instagram at Daughter Dearest Podcast, at Simone Knego, and at Olivia Knego. Till next time.